Welcome to TYP Art Live Chat. In this episode, I'm very happy to have Roy with me. Roy writes Art History Journal on Instagram. So through his selection of artworks and everyday daily writing, very informative explanation. He takes us to visit the museums around the world, discover the masterpieces. And today is the first time, I believe, Roy, for you to show up in front of a camera for Instagram Live.
It's quite exciting, yeah? It's quite exciting,
so happy to have you. Would you like to say hello to our audience and introduce yourself?
Of course. So first of all, hello everyone, and also thank you very much, Tian, for inviting me to do this really exciting live with you guys. So it's my first time, a little bit nervous, but I'm sure this is going to go well.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So Roy, it's been about a while that you're writing Art History Journal. But what is your profession? Because I know you're doing this in your spare time. Maybe you can tell us a bit more, the birth of Art History Journal, where comes the idea?
Sure, yeah. So I'll introduce myself a little bit. My name is Roy, obviously, and I run Art History Journal on my spare time. But I'm actually by no means a professional. I'm actually doing research work in Vienna. I specialize in EU foreign policy. And then on the side, I also help my family to run their business. We specialize in international education, cultural exchanges, and migration. I do teach art history courses at various levels within my family business, and a lot of my students do major in art history and architecture in Canada and US.
Wow, it's really impressive, the multiple roles that you already assume or play in your professional life. And now in your spare time, you're teaching art history to more people around the world. It's really generous of you.
Yeah,
because I know from my own experience, right? When you write keeps and daily blog like that, it requires a lot of time and energy to put into that. And typically, it's only driven, by the pure fondness and the desire to share.
Of course.
I just wonder, where comes from this passion lies inside you towards art history? Has anything to do, with your first experience, first encounter with art, if you still remember?
Yeah, to be honest, my love with art has been not a smooth road. Like considering where I was born and where I was born, quite frankly, I was not exposed to a lot of art, especially Western art. And even if I wanted to, there were just simply weren't enough resources, weren't enough information. Growing up, my mom used to talk about Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael a lot, and that's all we knew. That's all we knew. To be honest, in the very beginning, I didn't like it. I thought, oh, here we go, another new study. Here we go, another something about religion.
Yeah, because it came from your parents, right?
Exactly.
Obligation.
Yeah, for me, it was just quite boring. And then even when I visited Florence for the first time, nothing really clicked. I was really more into the food than into the art and the history. And then I don't know what happened. One day I woke up finally, and then something clicked, and voila, now I'm here.
Wow, that's interesting. But I mean, I'm a food lover too. And to be honest, fantastic. I think the history of food is, no less complex than the history of art. But I can relate to what you said. First, when it's something that was mandatory that you have to learn in schools or from your parents, you may have a different feeling towards it. Somehow it may stop you or prevent you to fully enjoy or appreciate it. But more what I find out with my own experiences, art is such an endless universe. The more you immerse yourself into art, the more artworks you see. Actually, you get more addicted to it. It's like once you open your eyes, see the light, right? You can't go back to the darkness. And that's my own feeling. I guess it's the same like
exactly.
you just said. So in your case, may I ask, what is your most memorable art experience?
Of course. I think my most memorable art experience was my first time visiting San Marco in Florence. That was an absolutely mind-blowing experience because it just, for me, it's just absolutely mind-blowing how Fra Angelico was able to keep such a peaceful mind. Or as its name suggests, an angelic mind, and then painted all those works on the walls of St. Marco, especially considering how, there's war, there's famine, there's diseases. there's all the, political machination in Renaissance Florence. So for me, it was just like, it's just a land of pureness, it's a land of purity. So that was really, really surprising. And then I only discovered San Marco on my third time to Florence, many, many years ago, but still on my third time. Because, as tourists or as beginning art lovers, you immediately go to Uffizi first, obviously, or you go to see David. It's quite standard, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Italy, there are so many treasures to discover, and not only art, but the whole culture as well as the food. So I'm not surprised that you went to San Marco only on your third trip to Florence, but actually you kept going back. Well, you still keep going back. I mean, there's something that you really attach you to it. And I also remember my only and first visit to Florence, and I did went to San Marco because before going there, actually I already read, learned quite a lot about Federico. I read about him in books, essays, as well as from lectures. And I have seen his paintings in Louvre, but also a lot of reproductions. And my favorite is actually his Annunciation. And I still remember actually now when I talk to you, this vivid image when you climb up the staircase and you have this Annunciation, at the end of the staircase. There's something, more than sacred or religious belief in it. And I still remember this moment, and I call it those revealing moments in my life. And in my personal case, actually, it is because it is thanks to the accumulation of these revealing moments that I started to write my, daily blog on Instagram, because I wanted to share these positive energies, these emotions with the other people. I mean, not everyone got the chance maybe travel to Florence, but I do hope, transmit this passion and this discovery with them. So it may make them smile, it may light up their day, or maybe it can change their life. I mean, I believe that art sort of changed your life, right?
Oh, for sure, and definitely for the better. And speaking of which, you were saying how, you're walking up the stairs and then you see Annunciation at the top of the stairs. It actually kind of reminds me of Dante's trip, actually in paradise.
Oh.
Where that journey, working his way up to paradise. It's a really nice journey. It's a really nice feeling. And for that Annunciation specifically, I've seen it so many times on Google. I've seen it so many times on books and textbooks. So it was really refreshing and really amazing to see it in person for the first time.
Yeah. And I think that's really the magic. And I do, encourage, everyone, if you get the chance, go to the museums, go to the church to see the real works. I mean, even if you're so familiar with it, seen in the books on internet, it's still so overwhelming, striking when you see it in real. Yeah, but I mean, is that how art changed your life? I mean, make you, appreciate more the beauty in daily life, or?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, for me, art has not only allowed me to appreciate the finer things of life, but most importantly, as a political science by training, I never see artworks just as artworks. I see them sort of, as a window to the past. It gives me opportunities to sort of examine, to look at the socio-political background, the economic background, the culture background, the everything really. So for me, that's very, very exciting, and that's very intriguing as well.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. I like what you just said, because I mean, for me, or maybe for many people, when we talk about political scientists, it's such a serious job.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the romantic creativity side of the artist, but you do, have your look based on your experience, based on your profession on the art, and it's great that you're sharing it with all of us on art history. And that's really interesting that you managed to make the link. And I think it's not only to you, right? Whether you are like Roy, study political science, or doing any other jobs, in restaurants, in finance, in IT, I think everyone can find this connection with art, with the history. And once the connection is done, it will never go. And it's so enriching the experience.
For sure, definitely agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you say that when you look at the painting, it's a window to the past. So I'm not an artist, actually. I tried to learn drawing, but it was quite a failure, and I gave it up. That's why when I look at paintings or drawings or any artwork, I'm more interested in finding out the stories behind. Because even if a simple portrait or still life, I realize there's always some story behind, human stories. And that's what interesting me more, actually, compared to the theoretical or technical analysis. And I also think, actually, the artwork, it's a living thing. Because as the public, as the viewer, we contribute to its living, to its life. We bring our own look, understanding towards it, right? And this is impacted by our own experience, as well as the society or the environment that we live in. That's why I believe that art is really a sharing experience, like we're talking here, like what we both do on Instagram. And whether you study art academically or not, whether you're an artist or not, everyone can contribute to it. So I wonder, do you have any advice for our audience? Because I think many people, they want to learn more about the stories behind the painting. They want to understand further the art, but it feels so high-end, it feels so, sophisticated, very difficult to approach. What will be your advice to us?
Yeah, I mean, I will give my sort of, reflecting upon my personal experience, I'll give a few advice or two. I think first and foremost, it's important to understand that, art is not something that's very distant. Art is not something that's very ancient. Quite frankly, a lot of our works are very timely, are very relevant to us, modern folks, living in the modern world. I still also number two, I think approach art from a very democratic, from a very popular point of view, in the sense that we can always find something in art that we like. We can always sort of connect with an artist, with a particular artwork, or even with a particular symbol within the artwork. My third advice, obviously, go to Florence. Please do go to Florence. And this is not a paid announcement by the Florentine municipal government. No, this is not at all. Italy was the second European country I visited, and Florence, of course, was my first stop. And I still go to Florence twice or three times per year, and every time when I go, there's plenty of new discovery, artistically speaking, also socially, also in terms of restaurants. But it's for me, it's walking on the streets of Florence. I get shivers because most of the time I go to Florence in the summer. So as you know, it's quite hot. I was in Florence less than a month ago, and it's really, really hot there. But I get shivers because I feel so small. I feel so sort of minute, amongst these walls, among the people. Honestly, if these walls could talk, the sort of the things that we will learn from them, it would be so amazing. Yeah. So do go to Florence. Please go and visit if you get a chance, if you get the opportunity.
Wow, thank you. Well, actually, what you just said really made me, wanted to go back, because my only visit was about a decade ago. And I do want to go there because there are new places that I want to visit. And you may relate to that too. I mean, I will definitely go back to San Marco and those familiar places because I have new expectations towards them. I think that's maybe why, right? You keep repeating your visit in Florence because every time you find new things based on your individual experience, besides where you live on, in between. And of course, the people surrounding you. And I think that's, wow. You're making really publicity for Florence City.
I swear to God, I'm not getting paid for this. But hey, if you want to go to Florence, give me a call. We can do something together. How about that?
Oh, yeah. Then we can do a live together, side by side there.
Why not?
And that will be really fantastic. Because I know you actually, Roy, initially planned to do today's live in Vienna in the beautiful garden.
Yes.
But due to the, I believe there's a storm there, right?
Yeah,
so
there's a storm
we have to change a bit the background.
Exactly. I was supposed to set my cameras in the Garden of Belvedere, but this is also fantastic. It's just great to be with you and be with the rest of you guys.
Yeah, no, but I mean, that is also what I feel. I do feel lucky that we live in the digital age, right? Thanks to the platform like Google Arts, Wikipedia, as well Instagram, that we can share our passions and meet friends. That's actually how I met you, Roy. I mean, through Instagram. Well, I'm in Paris, you're in Vienna, we're not that far away, but still, it's really wonderful. And that's also how I met Federico and me, who were the two guests from the previous sessions. And I remember, Roy, last Christmas, we did a collaboration on writing about paintings with Angel during the Christmas time.
That was really
it was
fun.
a very enriching experience for me, because every day I was really curious to find out which painting you're going to select for the scenes that we fixed together, like Naughty Angels. I really like that one.
That was a
and
fun one. That was a fun one. Yeah, exactly.
So it's really, again, I think that's the interesting part. Thanks to the social media, it allow us, to talk to people, and usually we may not get to meet physically, but now we are actually doing our life towards the world. So, well, that's really, and I'm so happy that we can share our passion for art and have so many people join us. So thank you so much, Roy, actually,
thank you so much for the invitation.
For being here today. This is Roy. He writes Art History Journal on Instagram. Make sure you follow his account. When you cannot travel, Roy will take you to the museums around the world. And thanks, everyone. Look forward to see you in the next live chat. Thank you.
Lovely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.